Hey guys, welcome to the Smart Roofer System podcast. My name is Tate Jordan. I will be your host for today. And with me, I have Jacob.
What's up?
And today on this podcast, we talk about the key sevens every single week. We come out with you with one of the keys. The key sevens is planning, money, operating, marketing, sales, staffing, and leadership. Today's topic, we're going to be talking about marketing. All right. So, one thing that someone said to me yesterday was, Facebook ads don't work. I've made millions of dollars off Facebook, so I would have to strongly disagree with him. And I would tell you that if you don't have the right ad or the right funnel or the right branding or follow up in your ad, you're just going to be burning money in a bucket.
Who
And
said that?
what?
Who said that?
Who said what?
Who said Facebook ads don't work?
I'm not going to say his name, but it starts with a D. So,
Oh my gosh.
but I think the big thing here is over the past decade, I've built over 2,000 plus websites, sales funnels, and I've worked with businesses that are just getting started or just don't have very good advertising. So we've had to really focus on keying in, how are they marketing themselves?
Yeah. Yeah, Facebook ads. I mean, if you look at the landscape of marketing avenues that you can take, you have, well, depending on what kind of business you run, but for a home service business, if you want to show and tell, you can do it on Facebook. And the difference, I always say, like, the difference in Facebook and Google is they're at a different buying stage, or they're in a different thought process. When they are on Facebook, they're sort of mindlessly scrolling, and you can catch them and stop them in their tracks and show them something and influence their decision making. Whereas on Google, they're sort of already ready to make a decision. So on Google, they have already decided that they're looking for somebody. So they're ready to, or they're, I guess, more ready to find a contractor. But at the same time, on Google, it's much more competitive in that regard. So Facebook, you can find people who you can plant ideas in their mind with ads, which I really like. So there's a bigger pool of people to pick from on Facebook.
Yeah, I mean, Facebook is what I call distractive marketing.
Yeah.
You have to get that hook, create a good opportunity. So yeah, I've seen ads that work for businesses, and I've seen ads that absolutely don't work. And here is how most businesses do their marketing, right? So you just got your truck. You're the new roofer in town, right? You're all fired up. You just got your truck. You got the equipment and the dream. So you go and you drop 20 grand on Google ads and Facebook ads, and instantly leads are coming in, but then there's crickets. You spent too long following up with that lead. You had a good hook, a good offer, but you didn't have the follow up there. So that person or that customer, maybe they walk away or they find someone else because you took too long with following up with it. The other thing is maybe you had a good hook and the lead came in, but they didn't understand that it was a short time offer for that offer. Um, so then what happens is that lead, that customer, they walk away. You didn't get to them fast enough to make that sell, and the leads, you just blew the money. And so advertising, then you just go back to advertising in your area by just word of mouth, and that's the way that you stick with just getting customers. And you think ads don't work. I spent all this money and ads didn't work, but really you just spent all that money, but you didn't have the right funnel. You didn't have the right marketing process to be able to close that deal. And you have to go slow before you can go fast. And so it's important to sit down with people with experience like Jacob and myself who have the marketing, knowledge of how the process goes in the pipe drive, and with following up that lead with the leads. And then also making sure that the lead is the right lead for you, because your hook is right for your business. So this is one thing we do here at Smart Roofer Systems. And so here's the thing: you got to go slow before you can go fast. There are two parts of digital marketing. You have to go slow to build the foundation. You have to go fast to pour the fuel on the ads, on the fires. So let's break it down. The slow part is about 3 to 6 months. A legit, fast, mobile friendly, website. You got to have a really good, fast website that's really cranking out, easy to use for people to put in their information. And it's got to be mobile friendly. I see so many crappy websites that aren't mobile friendly. And I'll tell you what, your phone, you spend so much time on it. I would say about 90% of our leads come in, they're off the phone. It's very, very,
super important.
Super important.
Yeah.
You got to have great photos of your work. You have to have Google reviews, and 50 plus, with keywords, in there. So I think once you start doing work, at the end of the project, pull out your phone, send them a copy of the Google link and say, hey, can you please write me a review if I did a good work? If I didn't do a good work, let them know what I did wrong, and just be generic, right? But the more Google reviews you get, the better you're going to optimize on Google. The other thing that you need to do is you either need to hire someone who knows SEO, or you need to start optimizing your page yourself by putting blog pages in, by doing content, by putting in key search words in your area, that you can, differentiate, make yourself different from your competition. This stuff is definitely boring, and it takes time. It takes a lot of time.
So it's the long-term investing. If you're, it's the long-term stuff that's going to pay off in a year from now, that if you don't start, because ultimately, like, you could spend money on the fast action ads and get leads and do your follow-up, and that's a lot of work, which is necessary in the beginning, but long term, if you want that longevity and getting leads that are pretty much already closed with your business because they've seen enough of your content online and that trust is built up, that's through all of this other stuff: SEO, reviews. If you think about a business with 200 reviews versus a business with 18 reviews on the Google Map Pack, to the top 3, that business is going to be getting 80% of the market share, while the other businesses in the area are sharing the last 20%. So that's what you get with all this, that important long-term SEO stuff.
Yep. And the fast part is Google ads. So you're the fast, like, your money spinning Google ads, Facebook, Instagram ads, lead generation sites like Angie's, Yelp, those kind of sites will help with getting you ads, or leads faster. But this is stuff that you could start doing today, and you'll get leads today, right? And you'll be able to make those sales. But if you don't have, the fast power of the foundation really, in there, you gotta play. Like with the fast ads, you have to play, I call it. You have to pay to play.
Pay to play, yeah.
And you're gonna get anywhere between 30 to, sometimes ads they'll be about 130 to 150 a cost per lead. But what's that lifetime value of that customer? Could be easily, $7,000 in profit over the next 5 years or more.
Yeah. And that's why it's important to track how much you're spending, and then tracking where your leads are coming from, and then how many of them you're closing, because you need to track that ROI, because you could be upside down inside of a campaign and you could be spending more than you're making and you won't know it. And then also on the other end, if you don't track it, you don't know if it's working or not. So um always like having a marketing person that is being diligent about tracking that stuff, because you're just one person, right? You can't do everything, you can't wear all the hats. You're probably closing if you're a sole business owner, so maybe you're doing your own marketing, but eventually tracking that stuff becomes mega important, because how do you know if it's working or not, right?
Right. So the big thing is you got to get with, people like us to be able to help you build these marketing systems. We do a free consultation, so you can go on, to smartroofersystems.com and get that free,
Yeah, inquire.
inquire,
Yeah.
right? To get that free, um, for us to look at what you're currently doing, how we can help you, and everything like that, and give you some ideas. So, the other thing is don't turn on, a funnel, right? Turn on the hose and you don't have your bucket ready, right? So you need to have
Yeah,
your
true.
website. You need to really focus on building your reputation and making sure that you don't have holes in your bucket. Otherwise you'll never be able to, fill your, bucket up with money.
Hmm.
You'll just be flushing it right down the drain. So,
Yeah, especially with Facebook ads. One of the reasons why people say that Facebook ads don't work, well, when somebody sees an ad online and they fill out their information, this is the first time they've ever seen you. This is the first time they've ever met you. It's like meeting somebody at the mall and you're just talking to them for the first time. And if you try to pitch them coming to their house and looking at their roof without them seeing other things about your company or talking to you first, it's almost like asking for a date, like right when you meet somebody. So there's other things that have to happen, and trust needs to be built, especially with Facebook, because it's just kind of it's quick, right? So a lot of people say Facebook ads don't work because they don't understand the state of mind that the person who's filling out the form is in. So there's a lot of other work you got to do, and trust that has to be built before you can even book an inspection with them, right? But if you do that work properly, uh and you're diligent about it, then you could turn those leads into trusted buyers. But it just takes more work, right? Facebook ads are cheaper, they take more work to close, but
yeah,
they do work.
they do work. Here's one thing that, right, I just want to say right now, you need to fix, if you have a slow, outdated website, you need to fix it. If you don't have any reviews on Google, you need to start getting reviews. If a business that looks sketchy online, but you're spending, money, right? Then you're going to be like spending money on ads, but your business doesn't have the presence. People aren't going to build that trust. They're not going to want to click on your link. They're not going to want to use you as a service because your professionalism online does not look good. So, what I got to say
Hmm.
here is let's be super clear. Most businesses, you absolutely need to advertise, you need to get the word out. But the big picture of this is you need to look good. You need to have a mobile friendly website. You need to have Google reviews. You need to create the right Facebook hook. You need to have a present on, organically posting on Facebook, Instagram, photos of your work, talking about videos of your work. And you need to create that presence on Facebook. If you want to compete, if you want to get big, and if you want to, be a successful business, you have to spend money on advertising. That's just the world we
Yeah.
live in. It's everywhere. And social media like Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, podcasts, all of this, you have to do this work, and it's going to be slow, but you got to keep doing it. You got to keep hitting those singles, getting on first, getting on second, getting on third, going all the way, and you'll eventually hit a home run. So ads that you have to do is you need to be able to scale your company by creating ads. You need to be able to build trust online, because ads don't build trust. Okay, they just get attention. Your website, your reviews, your SEO, they keep the attention that turns into money.
Hmm.
So with that being said, build slow, but also work on creating the fast pace of social media to be able to get the right, hooks and offers and work with professionals. So if you're a roofer right now and you're struggling with your advertising game and your marketing game and you'd like to learn more, reach out to us. We'd love to sit down with you. It's free. We'd, love to connect with you and talk to you more about our smart roofer systems. Keep working hard. Keep pounding the nails. I'll talk to you soon.